Hey, this video is not going to be really a practical demonstration on how to build a stop-motion armature, but I am going to cover a few techniques and processes that I used when I was making my film Eskos. I've seen a fair few videos online where people are building very simple stop-motion armatures. So what they do is they usually make the wire frame out of aluminium wire or something, and then they bulk it out with Miliput or thermoplastic, leaving gaps for the knees and elbows and any part they want to bend. But then what happens is those points become very weak over time and eventually break. And when they do break, it can be a real pain when you spent a long time making the piece look really nice, painted it or whatever. So in Eskos, I wanted to find a way to replace the wire when it did break without replacing all the other parts that I'd made for that piece. Here's an example of the solution I came up with in the forearm. So you see I get a little bit of brass tubing and solder it right here. And that enables me to thread then wire through to attach to the hand on one side and to the forearm on the other side, wrapping it off on the forearm to stop it from wobbling. Okay, so the brass tubing before you cut and solder it will look something like this. Pretty small but with a big enough opening to get some wire through. Don't get solder in the hole, otherwise you'll never get wire through. Also, don't cut the end off with any tool that snips, otherwise you're going to end up with an end that's really squashed and it can be kind of a pain to open it back out again. Okay, so another example of my replaceable wire joint can be seen here in the chest kind of area. So if I open this bit up, you'll see that that brass tubing going from the neck down to the side, and the wire from the neck will travel, in through that tube and through the tube there, then wrap around the body and eventually lock off on the other side on some, I think it was a screw head that I soldered on there. All of the characters I made for this film had quite a lot of wire joints, and all of those wire joints were completely replaceable. For joints that only needed a hinge action, I'd use old glasses hinges. These were really good for knees and elbows. So what you do is you just cut the hinge out of the glasses, and because they're made of metal, you can just solder them on where they're needed. Because I didn't use any external rigging, I had to make the feet of the character very strong. So I soldered in a glasses hinge just here, and I also doubled up the wire on the ankle around here, you see. Also because I used no rigging, I had to find a way for the character to stand. So I used these Neodymium magnets. They just sit on top of the foot here and stick to the metal surface of the set below. These magnets are good because they're really strong, but it can be a problem if you want the character to just lift his foot up really slightly, because the magnet will just pull it straight back down again. So my solution to this was to make non-magnetic replicas of the magnets, so same shape, same size, covered in the same black material as well, and just replace the magnets for these replicas whenever I needed the foot to stay off the ground. All of the solid body pieces, like this chest piece, were actually made from recycled metal elements like this draw catch. So you see the part on the top there with the wheel attached to it. I was able to remove that, flatten it into the shape that I needed, and it seemed to fit pretty well. I also used the main part of the draw catch, cut it off and folded it in a way that I was able to use it for the character's hips. And lastly, the heads of the characters. They were pretty simple to make. I just sculpted them out of superfine Miliput and waited for them to set. So thanks for watching, and if you haven't seen any of my stop motion shorts yet, then please do check them out, and if you like them, please share them on Facebook and Twitter. Cheers.